Hello, hello.
Here I am, guys. Y'all been asking where I've been. I'm right here. What's up, peoples?
You weird.
No,
Yeah,
you're the first one that's ever told me that.
I don't think so.
You're the only one that's
Hello,
ever told me that.
Joe. I don't think so. Oh, I can call you weird all I want.
What's up, Indy?
Can anyone tell me why my TV says the live starts at 8, but my phone says it starts at 9? No, it is not. I don't know. It does this periodically. Whenever somebody goes on the TV, it has the wrong time. You're
Yep.
not the first person that's told me that. And it had not, and this was long before the time change. So, um, I don't know. I think the TV just has a mind of its own. We did change the time though tonight.
Yeah, she
No
called
later
me
than
about
normal.
4:45 today and said, "Can we do our live at night instead of 8 tonight?" I said, "More power. I need to lay down because this time change has got my sleep pattern all messed up."
Yes, it does. And it's been a rough week at work, and it just started.
And before anybody asks, yes, I wear glasses. I've been wearing glasses for years. I just don't wear them a lot. But I've noticed here in the last couple of weeks that my eyesight's really starting to fade a little bit. And I'm like, man, I better start wearing my glasses.
Yeah.
and,
Oh,
another,
hang on.
and another thing, everybody's been asking why we haven't been doing lives together. Marv is deep into one specific case, and I have been deep into one specific case myself, doing a lot of researching and talking with detectives and things like that. So we've been kind of doing separate projects, but we want to bring them onto the show when we're able to.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as my case is concerned, I can't do anything yet until I meet with the detective on the case.
And
Go ahead.
to say that by the time I am done with work lately, I am so exhausted. It's not even funny.
Right.
We're short team members, and for due to vacations, and the last thing I want to do is sit at the computer.
Right.
But I do miss everybody.
Oh, of course. We all do.
But you're right. I have been probably neck deep in the Tabitha case.
And as all y'all are aware, my buddy was killed back in 2012. He was murdered. So everybody's asking me why I'm doing this. And the family's like, we applaud you for doing this because the case has stalled over the last 10 years and nothing's happened. So I took it upon myself as a 54-year-old man who's basically retired on Social Security. I have nothing to do with my time. So it's my hobby to investigate these things. And especially when he was a friend of mine, and nothing's been done with the case in 12 years or 11 years.
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Did you forget how old you were?
Tell you how old I'm.
I just couldn't spit it out. 53, 54. Oh, I'm just picking on you. That's what little sisters do. You mentioned your eyes were getting bad. You're getting older.
Yep. My body's telling me it is. Honestly, it is. I might not mentally, but physically, put a gun to my head now.
So Dee says it's snowing bad here. Lots of snow. Anyone else? No. Nope. Finally, for one day, it did not snow. You can keep all of that snow by you, Dee. Do not send it my way. I've had enough.
Well, I'm here to bust everybody's bubble. It's tournament time, and you know what happens at tournament time? NCAA tournament.
I know. We're supposed to travel on Friday, and we're supposed to get snow.
That's what happens every year. That's why I don't believe in Groundhog Day. What's up, Pit Bulls?
What's up, Ruckus?
I joined his Discord. We are having some giggles in his Discord.
Well, give me his Discord. I want to join.
All you got to do is go to his YouTube page, go to his About, where it has his information, like where you want to send money for donations and everything, go down to
Yeah.
the very bottom and it has the Discord link on it.
Awesome. Well, look what the cat brought in.
Oh my goodness.
Support with Steffa. Haven't seen you in a while.
My ex-girlfriend decides to pop in.
Hello, Purdue.
Hey, Purdue.
Jill's here.
I ain't seen Jill in a while either. I know she's been sick.
Yeah, I hope you're feeling better, Jill.
My brother from another mother's in here.
Renee Days. Randy, did you put the wrong time? No, I didn't. We just made it an hour later. I needed some more downtime today after work. Love Tina, how are you? Rose Scheid. Nice to see you guys.
She sent me a message today.
Stuff says, I really like the glasses.
Well, thank you. Bruce, nice to see you, buddy. Damn.
Wow. Stephanie, how are you?
There's my best friends in there. What's up, Angela L?
It's okay. We know you have to research. Oh.
You guys, I mean, I wish you guys would switch spots with us for a week.
You don't know the half of it right now.
It's a lot tougher than people thought. You can't just come on YouTube and do shows. You just can't
Drop
do
them in for the Frank and Marv action. All right. Chris, nice to see ya. Trust and Justice. My screen keeps... You're sitting there in 4 feet of snow? Oh my goodness. I can tell you that we've gotten more snow than last year and this year in the past week.
Wow. I don't think we've had more than probably 8 inches of snow here all winter. If that.
Steffa, did you hear Frank? Go on Ruckus's page in the About section. He's got links for and Discord's on there. Angela, how are you?
Don't forget to send me that information you were talking about earlier, Angela, so I could put it in our file.
Hello, Melissa.
There's my mother from another mother, Purdue RN.
Yes, hello. So we decided we were going to do a live on the biggest scumbag of the week.
Yep. Biggest scumbag of the week. And the bad thing about it is he's not even a U.S. citizen.
Right. So we all know in this community, we've talked about it many times. I mean, I brought to you 2 missing kids. Well, I can't say kids. They're young adults, I guess. 16, 17, not quite adults. That have been catfished online. You know, these online predators. And I just want to say thank you so much, Renee Days. We appreciate it.
That just covered the money I took out of our account today.
So I was reading, I don't know whose Facebook page it was, but it came up on my wall. And they were talking about how they got a friend request. And it was one of these predators, online predators. And they had never gotten one before. And thankfully, they realized it right away and blocked them. Because with me when I had Abby and Libby's picture on mine, I got several every day.
I get them every day. I get catfished every
now
day.
I'm getting the nudes. Yeah.
I get catfished every day. I go to my emails, my messenger, and I know if I don't recognize them, the name, I do not accept them, or I do not open the chat or nothing, because it's more than likely a catfisher or somebody is hacking your account.
Thank you for sharing us. So, who is Jorge Camacho?
It's Jorge.
Jorge. Well, they're calling him George on the news.
His name is Jorge Ivan Santos Camacho.
Well, he's the biggest loser.
And he's a Cuban national.
This week.
Let me tell you something, a little something about George, or you guys, they say George in the States, but if you go down in Cuba, it's going to be Jorge. He's a 34-year-old Cuban national that resides in Lexington, North Carolina, which would be Davidson County in North Carolina. He's accused of kidnapping, sex trafficking, statutory rape of a child under the age of 15. The accused is allegedly groomed the 13-year-old on her social media account. Kidnapped her from her home out of Texas, took her back to North Carolina, where he was raping her, sodomizing her, using her for sex trafficking, the whole works.
And kept her in a shed.
Shed outside next to the house.
13 years old.
13 years old for a whole week. And he has been charged. The last time they seen the 13-year-old, I can't give you her name because they won't release it since she's a minor.
Right.
I don't know her name. But the last time that she had been seen by her family was March 1st.
Sorry. Ruckus says, when I get catfished, I actually send my nudes. Boom. Never hear from them again.
I'm afraid to do that. Shit.
Wow. This is a very, very upsetting story. We hear about this all the time, but here is a fresh case of a 13-year-old girl that goes online, gets catfished, gets groomed by this pedophile, and convinces her to go with him.
Yep.
And he takes her almost 1,000 miles away.
Yep.
How did they end up finding her, Frank?
Through her social media accounts. That's how they tracked her. Or tracked who the last person she was in contact with.
Okay, I was going to say, probably not her. He probably didn't let her have her phone and stuff, but... And this happens every day.
Every day. Every day. I'm starting to see more news things about these catfishers every day. I mean, I just saw one the other day. I believe it might have been a cop.
Yeah.
That was catfishing people.
Yeah. Oh, this mouse is driving me crazy.
And then you got another cop that was just busted for selling narcotics. And I'm like, I know all cops aren't the same, Ruckus, nothing towards you whatsoever. But there is a lot of bad ones out there.
Yeah.
And now this little girl has got to go through psychiatry appointment, psychologist, not knowing if this guy had any diseases when he was raping her. So she's got to go deal with all that, got to go to counseling.
That's the saddest part.
Yeah. And he was charged with, he had 5 charges: child abduction, restraint of a child, basically is, you would call confinement, criminal confinement, human trafficking, statutory rape, statutory sexual offense, and indecent liberties with a child. And he was given a $1.25 million bond.
Yeah.
And another reason why we wanted to do this, about this story, because I did some research today, and I'm not trying to tell parents how to raise their kids and things of that nature, but I've got tips for parents when it comes to this kind of stuff that people need to pay attention to.
Well, before you give the tips, I want to give some statistics.
Okay, go ahead.
So, a while back when I first started the channel, I had tried to do a video. And I want to repeat these statistics because it's gotten even worse now.
Yes, Bruce, he's in jail.
Yeah. There's more than 500,000 predators online every day. That has probably tripled since these stats came out. Kids 12 to 15 are targeted in being groomed and manipulated by offenders online. That is one of the key age ranges that they're hitting right now, is that 12 to 15. And now we're seeing more of 16 and 17. 89% of all sexual advances toward our children take place in the internet chat rooms and through instant messaging on social media sites such as Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Facebook. When I did this research last year, 83 million Facebook accounts are assumed to be fake.
Oh, yeah.
83 million. That's even more nowadays. 70% of kids accept friend requests, regardless of whether they know the person or not. 70%. Many 13 to 17-year-olds, 69%, have updated their status on social networking sites to include their physical location. And by having that physical location available for everybody to see is making them a target right off the bat.
Yeah.
Yes, it's great for us parents because we get to have those apps where we can watch where they are, but that's one of the number one ways of how these predators are getting a hold of our kids. 53% of Americans admit to falsifying their online profiles.
Oh, that's blatantly obvious, especially with the teenagers these days, because Facebook rules says you have to be 16 in order to have a Facebook.
Yeah.
But how are they going to manage that? You know?
Right. FBI stats show that more than 50% of victims of online sexual exploitation are 12 to 15 years old. 43% of teenagers who first met someone online later met them in real life. 43%. In 27% of exploitation incidents, predators ask kids for sexual photographs of themselves. And then, what was the other one that I was looking for? 52% of kids have given out personal information online to someone they didn't know. Those are staggering stats.
See, what I do is when somebody sends me a message, I don't recognize the name, I'll open it up and say, do I know you?
Yeah.
Because if I don't know you, I'm deleting and blocking you.
So it just goes to show that because kids are not active a whole lot anymore, they're always on their electronic devices.
Oh, my sister's in here. Oh my goodness, where'd
so
you go?
It's so important for parents to keep an eye on their usage, on their electronics, their phones, tablets, computers, whatever they are.
Somebody asked how you block people. It depends on what social media site you're on how to block.
So let me bring up my Facebook.
Hi, Brooke. Night. It was good to see you, sis. Yeah, my little sister's in here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Brooke Plummer. Yeah.
Okay. Present.
Christy, the reason why is because the way the laws are set up for privacy when it comes to kids under the age of 18. There are laws that protect them with privacy when it comes to phones. Just say if you got a child still living at home and it's under the age of 18, they buy their own phone. The parent has no legal right to go through their phone because of the privacy laws. Privacy they would have in my home, yes, go to the bathroom, shut your door, take a shower, go to your room, change your clothes. You got friends over, you're not shutting your bedroom door, period.
Yeah.
And I will, if you're my kid and I get you a phone, I will have parental access to that phone to make sure I can see everything that's going on. My son, my youngest son, I caught him back in 2000, I want to say 18. I was going through his phone and found a picture of him when he was 16 carrying a handgun. And boy, I laid the law down on him for that.
Oh, I bet.
Well, I mean, he was living with his mom at the time, and I mean, nothing against his mother and everything. We got a child together and everything, but she just basically let him do what the hell he wanted to do. And I wasn't putting up with that.
All right, why can't I?
What are you trying to do? Find somebody that you don't know?
Oops. Okay, I got it. Now I got to find me again.
Well, no, you don't even have to do that. Click off of that. Just go
I want to show everybody.
I know, open your messenger and just go up to the right-hand corner. Open your messenger on your Facebook page.
It's open.
Okay. Click on your picture.
Yep. It takes you to their page.
You should have
Click on the 3 dots.
Yeah.
So click on the 3 dots and hit block.
Yep. That's all you got to do. You know, I'm old school parenting, man. We didn't have that kind of shit when I was growing up, kids, because we didn't even have cell phones, you know. But the problem with parents these days, I'm not saying all parents are like this, so don't misconstrue what I'm saying, is that the government has got these parents so fearful of their children these days, they can't really discipline them. You got them teaching them in schools, well, your parents aren't allowed to spank you. Well, let me tell you something. Who are you to tell me that I can't raise my kid the proper way to keep his ass out of trouble? Excuse my French, everybody. You know?
Keep it to a minimum, please.
And I always told my son, you call the police and I go to jail, when I get out, I'm beating you know what again. I'll keep going back to jail until I get through your head. This is not the proper way, the lifestyle that you want to lead.
Oh, Christy. Yeah, you got that right. My kids show me everything. But yeah, it's a rough world out there. As parents, we've got so many things that we have to worry about. It's not even funny.
You know what's so bad about it here in Indiana is the law states that we can beat our kids as much as we want as long as we don't leave any marks or they need medical attention. That's what the law states. But you got these teachers that are teaching these kids they can't do that. They can't whoop you. They can't put you in timeout. Then what are you trying to tell the kids? They can do what the hell they want to do?
Yeah.
The government wonders why we have such a problem with the young generations these days. They need to take a look at themselves and say, hey, we're the problem here.
Yeah.
You know?
And you're right. You are right, Gloria. That is the problem. They take away our parental rights.
Bruce, you're up in Oregon, I believe.
Lady Fierce says this guy lived 20 minutes from her.
Who?
That George.
No, she lived in Texas. The girl lived in Texas.
She said the guy lives literally 20 minutes from
her, from Lady. Okay, I see. I got you. Sorry.
That's all right. I know those eyes are going bad. We'll help you read them.
See what I'm saying? Indy Pam lives in Lawrence, where I'm from.
Mm-hmm.
And she's dealt with the same problem here in Indiana. I can remember when my youngest brother was like 16 and he was dating somebody like 10 years older than her and then him. And I caught him red-handed. I mean, more power to you. If you think you can pull an older woman, go for it. But, you know, this is not right for her. So I went home and told my mom. Boy, he come walking in the door. My mom dog slapped the hell out of him. And then my dad grabbed him by his throat and lifted him up off the floor. We called the police. The police came in there and he started running his mouth. My mom hauled back and slapped the dog crap out of him again. And the cop said, I'm going to let your mom do what she's got to do. This was back in the early 90s, mind you.
Yeah, but you could do that then.
Right.
You can't now.
And now if you discipline kids, they're killing the parents. We just had this happen about 3 years ago. A kid snuck out of the house and got caught by his dad coming back in at 3 o'clock in the morning. He went to his bedroom where he had a gun hidden and killed every family member in the house. Yep. At 16 years old.
Yeah, discipline shows that you love them enough to care what happens to them. You got that right.
Exactly. I mean, any smart parent, I'm not saying no one's smart, not whatsoever. I'm just saying any smart parent that's concerned about this kind of situation, you've got to take control of the situation. Don't let the children control the situation themselves, because if they do, look what happens. The 13-year-old got groomed and the parents had no clue what was going on, and all of a sudden she's gone.
Yeah.
You put a parental thing on their phone to a password they can't figure out. Put a password to where they cannot factory reset the phone to where they could change everything. So you can monitor everything they're doing. I mean, like here in Indiana, the curfew laws are so screwed up. They believe that a child under the age of 18 still live at home has the right to stay out until 1 o'clock in the morning. Now,
that's ridiculous.
What is a teenager going to be doing at 1 o'clock in the morning? Only thing I can think
trouble.
Getting into mischief. Exactly.
Olivia 2 says, I can see chat, but get an error message and can't see Marvin Frank. Anyone else? I would try to back out and go back in. Come back in. I told my boys, I know you think I'm making your life miserable. Well, let me put it like this. I'm going to do my job.
It's exactly right. You play, you've got to pay. So you got to step up at the plate and be the parent that you should be, because you thought you were adult enough to get somebody pregnant. You should be adult enough to be a parent and do it the right way. I understand there's people that don't have no experience in parenting, but that's something you got to learn along down the road from your parents. If your
Right.
parents taught you the right way, it should teach you to teach your children the same way.
And we do have to say, Jorge Camacho is in custody on a $1.25 million bond right now.
Yep.
But if you think about it, how much money is it going to cost this family to get this 13-year-old help?
Right.
Everything
Exactly.
she's been through.
Exactly. And the first thing that's going to happen, I've seen it too many times in so many different cases. The kids are going to be in denial, thinking they're in love with this person. You know, kids these days don't understand what love is at all. Yeah, you got a person who looks your age and he's all being sweet, this and that, whispering sweet nothings in your ear, and instantly they're infatuated. You see what I'm saying? And my version of love, this is how I look at love. Love to me is if you're willing to stand in front of a bullet to protect somebody else, that's love. You're willing to put your own life to protect somebody else's life.
I don't think we've gotten enough information yet, Lady Fierce, since they just found her. I think they're still investigating and looking into him more, and if this is a big ring.
Well, I mean, if it's sex trafficking and they charge him with that, there's got to be some type of ring. They just probably trying to figure out which ring it is.
Right. Because it says Dallas police had been looking for the girl and tracked her online communication to Camacho.
Mm-hmm.
And then the content of the chat was consistent with grooming and enticement.
Like I said, the enticement, the sweet nothings in the ear and things of that nature.
Video cameras in the area of the child's home captured a suspect vehicle, which was registered to an address in Davidson County, which is North Carolina.
Yeah. Oh, love Tina. We didn't have to wait for the street light to come on. If we weren't in that door before that light came on, we were had. And like I said many moons ago on another live, my mom could yell so loud I could hear her 4 blocks away.
Oh, yeah.
And that meant get your butt home. You know?
Yep.
It's just amazing to me how the government allows this to happen and they put it off on society and the parenting. It's just sickening.
Well, and I guess he actually had her for 10 days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I thought it was less than that, but no, it was 10 days.
Yeah, the last time they had seen her, the family was on March 1st.
And they didn't find her today. They found her Friday night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we understand it's old news, guys, but I haven't seen anybody covering it, and we wanted to bring it to attention. Plus, like I said, a little later in the show, I'm going to give some tips to parents on how to control or have discussions with their kids and things like that. Just some tidbits that might help if anybody in our chat's got issues with their teenage child.
Okay, so remember those stats I was telling you? Investigators have said the suspect started chatting with the girl while gaming. Her father later found messages on her cell phone that the two had exchanged. So he hit her up in a gaming chat room.
Acting like a kid.
And that's one of the top areas that they hit.
Yep. Because they know kids love their gaming.
Yep.
Look at Renee Days. My kids are perfect angels.
Lady Fierce, thank you so much.
Thank you, Lady Fierce.
Well, yeah, that's part of what we what I originally wanted to do was help educate people.
Spit it out. Isn't that what you tell me? Spit it out. And like we said, we're not trying to tell parents how to raise their kids.
No.
We just want to give some insight in case you come across a situation like this, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
let me tell you something. I feel like I'm being catfished by Tony Keegan Klein.
You are.
That sucker has messaged me for the last 3 days. Saying, and I messaged back, stop messaging me. And he said, and it comes back another message. He ain't got no money on his chirp device. Well, I'm sorry for him.
I ain't putting any more on there.
Nope. Not doing it.
All right, Frank. So let's get into some of the ways that we can help parents in this situation.
Okay. Number 1, talk to your child about online predators.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's that right there kind of is, it's really hard to explain on how you're going to do that with a child because the child's not going to know if the person is an adult or if they're actually a child that they're talking to.
Right.
But there are signs, like you said, enticements, whispers in the ear, saying one thing to get their full attention.
Asking a lot of information about their personal life.
Yep.
What they like to do, where they like to go. How is your home life?
Right.
As soon as a child tells them that their home life sucks,
they're on it. They're on it.
Yeah.
And they make these kids feel like they'll have a better life, and these kids don't realize.
They start giving them attention and an affection, and that's how it starts.
Well, I'm here to tell you, Stephanie Soda, I don't have money. Marv will tell you. She knows what I live on every month with my Social Security.
Yeah.
And there'll be times I do have to call her because we do make money on the channel to ask her if I can get some money.
Would you let your child date?
We won't go there. We're not going there. We do not talk about other creators on this channel.
Took me a minute. I'm like, who?
Sorry, Pam, but we just don't do that.
All right, so what's the next thing?
Number 2, discuss risky behavior with your child. Basically saying, are they doing things that are out of character that the parents or family member has never seen them do before, or acting out, or trying to be secretive while they're on the phone, or going to their bedroom and shutting the door and locking it. There's reasons why they do this kind of stuff. My kids never were able to lock their doors because if there was an emergency, I should be able to get right in there within an iffy second. I shouldn't have to kick a door in or anything.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3, spell out what risky relationships are.
You got to be specific nowadays. You can't sugarcoat things.
No, you can't. And like I said, risky relationships. What if, just hypothetically, what if Maria came home with black eyes?
I'd go ballistic.
Right. Then you would realize this relationship, there's something wrong with this relationship. And you have to sit her down and say, hey, this is risky. You're getting your ass beat when there's plenty of grass on the other side of that fence to be grown. There's many this is what I've always been told. When I was young, do not stick with one girlfriend because 9 times out of 10 it doesn't work out, and there's always somebody better on the other side.
Well, I don't know about that, but
number 4, talk about the dangers of chat rooms,
especially in those video game chat rooms.
Discord, my understanding, they had a problem there at one time with predators on there at one point in time.
Hmm.
Who's that? Pam guy? What are the signs of an online predator? I mean, I can name 1,000 of them, but I mean, it's just the way you bring it across to your children on how to explain it to them. Like Marv said, signs. How's your family life? You know, do you got a boyfriend? And there are times, and I've read articles about this, where the predators will ask him, hypothetically, what color panties you wearing? Things in that nature. You got to watch out for that stuff.
Well, so it says your child may be in contact with an online predator if he or she becomes secretive about online activities,
That's what I was saying.
becomes obsessive about being online, gets angry when he or she can't get online,
right,
receives phone calls from people you do not know, or makes calls to numbers that you do not recognize,
right,
receives gifts, mail, or packages from someone you do not know. So in that first missing person case out of Tomahawk, he sent her a laptop. They withdraw from family and friends.
Yeah, they don't want to do family functions, things in that nature.
They change screens or turn off computer when an adult enters the room. And then one of the big things is the child starts to download pornography.
Taking photos of themselves and passing it along.
Or actually looking at pornography online.
Right. And number 5, warn your child about online flirting. Somebody you don't know just out of the blue contacts you and says, hey, you're cute.
Mm-hmm.
Things in that nature. And starts to build a rapport with this child, making himself look like another child. And that's where then you have to really start paying attention to what's going on, because then this child starts saying things that he shouldn't know. Then that should be an alarm right there. Hey, is this even a child? Because he's saying things here that a child should know or wouldn't know anything about.
Right. So this kind of goes along with kids are innocent and will just talk when given attention. Yes. These online predators sound very nice.
Mm-hmm.
The most dangerous ones don't sound fake at all. They sound absolutely normal. They have real conversations in a non-threatening way. It's like part of the grooming is it's almost like they become one of their best friends and support system and everything else through these chat rooms and online. And then once they get to that step, the grooming continues, and then it gets into asking for pictures and
right, exactly.
And they always want to talk in private. They never want to video chat, FaceTime, anything like that.
You saw your first ad for Yubo today, D. Really? I have never seen an ad for that.
And then I just want to say too, from my research, they are very quick to ask for personal information. But not only are they quick to ask for personal information, they've already researched you.
Mm-hmm.
So they already know things about you that are going to try to, about the child. They know things about the child. So they're going to bring those things out and say, oh, hey, looks like you are like basketball or whatever, cheerleading or whatever,
Right.
And they're going to ask you a lot of questions.
Viv inquiries. I saw something about Harley Dilly. I don't know if it was in our messenger or something. I saw something about that. Somebody sent something about Harley Dilly. And then we have, where'd she go? I just saw her. Oh, about the girl in Wisconsin. Didn't you just bring that up about Tomahawk?
Yeah.
And if I'm correct, wasn't Maria catfished last year?
Yes.
Okay. Yep.
I actually have the whole conversation of what it went like. So another thing that these predators will do is they will stalk you online. They'll monitor your online activities. They'll stalk your family and friends.
Number 6, bring up sexy selfies. Now, this is what we're talking about, the photos.
Yeah.
Photos in lingerie, their panties, bra, nudes, whatever the circumstances might be. This is what this is pertaining to. Basically as a parent, telling your child, do not send any photos of yourself, no matter if they're sexy or not. People, then they could just distribute that photo all over the place, and then all of a sudden, you got the whole woodwork of predators looking at your photo like, man, I want to talk to her. Maria is
My daughter.
her daughter.
Sounds good, Vid.
Number 7, be clear about offline safety rules too.
Yes.
I don't know exactly what that means, but number 8, consider surveillance software, which means the parents will have access to the child's phone. They can see everything that's going on. That's what that means. And the last one is number 9. Tell your child that they can always talk to you. You always want to make your child comfortable to be able to come to the parent and say, hey, I've got an issue. I've got this guy stalking me, or I've got this guy contacting me here. I don't know what to do about it. I don't know if he's a predator. So let your parents read the messages, and they'll be able to determine just by the terminology that's being used in the conversation from this person.
And I mean, they go as far as pressuring you to meet in person, threaten you, make you think what you're doing is normal, make uncomfortable comments. Yeah.
And Stephanie Soto, hell no, KK is not asking me for no photos. He's basically trying to con me out of money is what it is. And I've told him a million times, you're not getting no money out of me. D, what do you mean does what things, and where's the proof? I'm not understanding the statement there. Let's see.
I think she was taking care of a troll.
Okay. Good. Got somebody here monitoring that. Marv blocked him. Someone not wanting to follow the rules.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Stephanie. KK is a prime example.
Exactly.
They use an assumed identity to make themselves look like they're somebody else for their own benefit.
Yep. And look what he did. He used a model's picture, lured in all these girls, knew they would fawn all over that picture, asked them for money, gave them money.
Asked for photos, and he got photos. You know, I mean, he used that luxury thing, too, to make it look like he had nice cars, took photos, and made them look like they were his. I mean, these are prime examples that we're talking about on how to notice a predator online when it comes to your children.
So
You got a point there, D.
yeah.
And I mean, my theory is somebody came to me when it came to AG and said, "Are you socializing with him?" And honestly, it's none of your dang business. You know, I'm trying to basically give him advice. Hey, man, stay on the straight and narrow, and if things will work out just fine for you. That's all. That's the only thing I could really say to him because I've never been in that position that he's in. And what happens in his personal life, sorry to say, it's not my business. So I stay out of it. What he does outside of anybody's friendship, you guys should not have to worry about it. If it doesn't pertain to you, leave it alone. I understand women don't like women beaters. I totally get it. I totally get that, but it's not your right to try to turn people against this gentleman. Let him make an attempt to move forward in life and straighten his butt up. That's all.
Can.
Exactly. You know, yes, people make mistakes in their lives. Everybody does. And if you say you haven't made a mistake in your life, you might as well just leave the chat now, whatever, because it's a bull-faced lie. I admit there's things that I've done in my lifetime that I wish I could go back and turn back time and change things, but I can't. It's been done. It's over. So the only thing I could do is move forward and try to better myself.
Right.
Yeah, I was in there, D. I was in that chat.
I think I was in a different one. I think it was I was watching his video on how to make videos.
Right. So don't let people get you off the wrong track and trying to help somebody out so you see if you can make an attempt to better their lives for them. That's all we can do is lend a helping hand. That's all we can do as human beings. You see something that's not right, step up and say something. Take action, especially when it comes to your kids, because this is a dog-eat-dog world now, people.
Yeah. This isn't like when we grew up.
No. When we grew up, it was like we could leave the doors unlocked all night long and didn't have to worry about nothing. And now you got people sneaking in bedrooms and raping elderly women and taking kids out of their beds, out windows and things like that. Everybody's got to be vigilant when it comes to their children.
And we do have to say the tips that we've given you and the information we have given you tonight is not just for kids. It's for any age.
Mm-hmm.
Kids, the elderly, those are the two that they
thrive
prey on
on.
The kids for the sexual needs. They prey on the elderly for the money.
Yep. And at times, you've got those sickos that do the same thing to the elderly as they do children.
Right.
And that's more disgusting to me than anything. You're right, D. It costs nothing to be a decent person. You know, and you always hear that saying, why can't we all just get along?
Because it's become a world. It's become a world where the more you make somebody else miserable, the better you feel.
You know, I mean, like I always say, I love my haters. I absolutely love them because that tells me I am doing something right. Yeah, like Viv Inquiries, I've been catfished numerous times since me and Marv became partners a year ago, many a times. And I'm constantly getting emails trying to sucker me into that crap. And then as soon as I see it, as I open it and I delete it.
This is sad, but Grizz is absolutely right. In a matter of seconds, that predator knows who is and is not a suitable target. And you'll know it because all of a sudden you'll get an IM on Facebook Messenger, and then you'll say something to him, and all of a sudden you go to type back to him, and he's blocked you.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll say on the bottom, "This is unavailable." So my favorite line is, "Do you know what I do?"
That's why I don't put my business out there.
And if they say no, then I tell them. And then they block me. So
good statement, Bruce. Good statement. If I can make if you make mistakes, all you can do is try to do better, move forward, and make better choices. It's all you can do.
I'll be right back.
All right. Yeah, Stephanie, he suckered us twice. Well, he really didn't sucker us. I just wanted to see if I can get any information out of KK the couple times that we put $20 on his chirp device. And I thought I was making some leeway, but then again, when I was messaging, he wasn't responding, and that just told me he was taking the money that we put on his chirp device, was contacting other people. And then he wanted to try to manipulate us into a $100 interview, which we knew better. He could take that $100 and never do the interview. And I'm like, nope, not doing it. Not doing it. I'm very protective when it came to my kids when they were younger. I can tell you that right now. Especially my youngest. Me and him don't see eye to eye to this day because I was so hard on him because I knew what the streets were about because I had ran the streets a lot of my life. And I didn't want to see him go down the same road. And then when I caught the photo of him holding a 38 revolver in his hand in his phone, I about flipped my lid. Even though he was living with his mom, I instantly got in his mom's rear end and shoot her out up and down, left and right, every direction you could think of. You're not monitoring everything he's doing. This is, well, he's got to be able to have his no, it doesn't work like that. Yes, they've got to have privacy. I totally understand that. But when it comes to the streets and things like that, there is no privacy when it comes to my household. You're not running the streets. Been there, done that. I know what's out there, and there's nothing that comes good out of it. Period. And it's just like my brother that passed away in September. His daughter, before she was even 18, was still in high school. He allowed her to go live with her boyfriend. And I'm like, man, I said, you're effing up right there, bro. He said, why? I said, man, basically what's happening here is that she knows that she's living with her boyfriend. She can do what the hell she wants to do. You just gave her permission to let her do what she wants to do since you went and let her go live with her boyfriend. That would never happen in my household. Never. And me and him fell out over that because my niece would contact me looking for advice because she couldn't get it from her dad. Well, then I ended up calling him and telling him about it, and he wanted to go off on me. And I said, look, man, she reached out to me. So that's telling me you're not being the father you should be. So I ended up having to cut ties with all that because I was tired of being ridiculed for being contacted by family members asking for advice. It'll be the last time I do that for family. Yes, right. You're right, Bruce. I do everything I can to get as much information. If I have to put money on somebody's books to see if I can get information out of them, I will. And y'all know that I am boots on the ground. You guys know that. Let's see, Indy Pam. You sound like my 40-year-old son talking to his teenagers now. Hey, I mean, I might sound harsh, and there's a reason why I'm sounding harsh. Because the way I look at it, Indiana is real bad. Indy Pam, you know this. You got so many kids out there shooting, killing, teenage kids killing people. My theory on this whole situation with this is they want to solve the curve the problem and solve the problem. They need to start charging the parents with the same crime that their child was charged with, period. And that'll end all that. Because I don't think the parents would want to be sitting in jail for something their child did.
Yeah, look at the Crowleys in Michigan.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
They just went to court 6 days ago in front of a panel of judges to try to get the case thrown out because they say the prosecution has no right to charge the parents with murder.
The least they should be being in charge with is neglect of a dependent.
Well, they're charged more than that.
Well, I'm just saying on the minimum charge should be neglect of a dependent.
Right.
Because the law states you're responsible for that child all the way up until they're 21 if they're still in school.
Right.
And anything that they do should fall back on the parents. That's just the way I feel. And that's why I never had issues like that with my kids growing up, because they knew better. I go to jail because of you. My foot's going to be hanging out your rear end when I get home. And I'm not trying to talk hard, but that's just the way I raise my kids. What they do once they turn 18 and move out of the house, it's on them. I can't control what you're doing when you're 18, but if you're living under my house at 18, you best believe the curfew is going to be 11 or 12 o'clock at night. I don't care if you're 18 or not. You're just not going to come and go as you please just because you're 18. Yes, legally you're an adult, but mentally you're not an adult. So that's what I'm saying is that parents need to take more control of what's going on in their child's life. If it comes to gaming, if anything with their cell phones, what friends do they have? What do you know about their friends? What do their friends get into? Do they get into sports, or are they just one of these kids that runs the streets and gets into mischief, doing drugs, drinking alcohol? Don't get me wrong. When I was a teenager, I experimented with all that stuff. And I'm sure 99% of you in the chat has done the same thing. But you know what the consequences now are, that you're an adult. You can pass it down to your children and say, hey, that's not a good idea. You know, you can drink and not realize you're got alcohol poisoning, you know, or say if your child gets pulled over and they find marijuana in the car, it should fall back on the parents. And see, that's another thing that I've noticed in the last 15 to 20 years is that there are parents out there that do not show their kids about responsibility or teach them about responsibility. And why I say that is due to the fact is I see so many teenagers these days that are driving brand new cars. If I can't afford a brand new car, how in the heck are you to afford a brand new car? That's the parents buying them brand new cars, and they didn't earn. A lot of them don't earn that kind of gift. When I was growing up, I had to work for my own cars, pay for my own cars. Not these days. Not these days.
And Pitbull, what do you remember what term it was that you saw or heard? And Christy makes a good point. Laws tell children that when they turn 18, they're an adult, but mentally, they're not.
Exactly. And it's scientific proof that your brain's not fully developed until you're at least 26 years old. And I think Purdue RN can vouch for me on that one, since she's in the medical field. And see, I learned that. I mean, mental abuse is mental abuse. Okay? Calling your child fat. You ain't going to be worth a piece of caca when you grow up. Things like that. That's mental abuse. Now, the government has a problem with abuse, right? Then somebody explained to me, when you go in the military, why they're allowed to mentally abuse you. I get the concept of trying to break you down and build you up to a man, but I don't think they had the concept at the time that science has already proven that you cannot mentally abuse a soldier under the age of 26 because it does more harm than good. I mean, I hated it when I was in boot camp. Oh, I hated it. Talk about they're going to go home and do my mama tonight and things like that. I knew better, but when you're talking about your mom at a young age like that, man, it really mentally messes with you. Exactly, Bruce. My dad did the same thing. Get a job.
Yeah.
You get the money, I will go get you. Of course, my dad was a mechanic. He knew what he was looking for. I paid for my own insurance, which was I was on my parents' policy in high school, you know, but I still paid my own insurance. There you go, Rose. My very first car was a $200 old beater Dart Swinger.
Mine was a diesel station wagon.
Oh my. You know, but hey, it was a car. I didn't care. As long as it had a stereo in it that I can blast, that's all that mattered. Hello, Freckled Joy. Boy, I'd hate to see that.
And put hair on my chest. So do you guys have any other questions as far as what are signs, what to look for as an adult, what to tell your children?
What I can do is Marv's already got a copy of the tips for parents. If she's willing to type it up and post it on our community wall,
Yeah.
we can do that. You know, give tips to the parents out there that need a little bit of help on what to do when it comes to their child in situations like this. I'm sure a lot of you know what you should do, what needs to be done, but just to be on the safe side for the newer parents with adolescents getting ready to be 10, 11, 12 years old, when they're getting ready to start puberty and things of that nature, when they start talking to boys or vice versa, talking to girls, whatever. These are just some tips that might help you out to keep things like this from happening in your family.
So I'm going to share my screen here. Oops. So one of the things that I do recommend is to do a Google search on reverse image search. And it'll tell you how to do it with an Android, how to do it with an iPhone or an iPad. And basically, kids nowadays, you can teach your kids to do a reverse image search. Takes a picture, goes out into the internet, and looks for that picture and everywhere it's been used. Mm-hmm. So in the case of Keegan Kline, if somebody had done that with his model's picture, they would have gotten all these different hits on that one picture. And they would have known that that person could not be trusted.
And see, now it's to the point where they're basically, parents don't even get to see their kids much anymore throughout the daytime. Parents have to work 2 jobs, and the kids are at school from 7 to 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon every day. And then the parents are working full time, and they get home late, might be able to spend an hour, 2 hours a day with them. Exceptional for the weekends when they don't have school. You know, it's gotten so bad to where parents can't even be parents anymore.
Right.
And I blame it all on our government. Don't get me wrong. I'm a true patriot of this country. But our United States Constitution is garbage now. And I'll give you a prime example. We have the First Amendment right about freedom of speech, right? That means that I should be able to walk up to a police officer, which I would never do, and tell him to suck my gonads. By law, I should be able to do that. But no, Now they've amended that law to where it's called badgering an officer, and you can go to jail for it. That's pretty bad. And I mean, I can go through a lot of the Constitution and tell you things that they've changed to where it basically don't even exist anymore. We don't have freedom of speech in this country anymore.
Trilogy Media recently did a predator sting where they caught some predators in California and they were arrested.
It's been
You have
happening.
people online that have YouTube channels
Just
that go
for that.
after these predators.
Yep. We got one here in Indianapolis, as a matter of fact. There's a group that does that.
In fact, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Boone
Yeah.
County, Indiana,
Yep.
exposing predators of innocent children. So yeah, he's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And there's more that I even watch. Kids in Lafayette, Indiana think they can be on their parents and get by with it. A lot of kids do nowadays.
Oh, yeah, exactly. The government manipulations got these kids thinking all this stuff. Hey, yeah, right, Indy Pam.
Yeah.
I don't even deal with cops anymore, but I mean, like I said, I was telling Ruckus, I said, you got a lot of good ones, but there's also just as many bad ones. And I just don't deal with them at all because you never know which one you're going to get.
Yeah. It's just so much different nowadays than when we grew up. When we grew up, we had to worry about people snatching kids off the street. Now they're coming into their bedrooms, their living rooms, wherever they are on these phones, tablets, computers. You know, they can get them and catch them whenever they want. It's so much easier nowadays. And kids are impressionable. So the minute somebody starts, paying attention to them and is interested in them and things like that, they think they're getting positive attention when in reality, they're in extreme danger.
Anybody got any questions or concerns that need to be answered, or? And I just want to let everybody know, yes, I'm still on the Delphi case. I got stuff coming in, but I'm not releasing anything right now until I get verification on stuff. I got some information today that I will not release until I talk to somebody about it and find out if it's legitimate or not.
Freckle Joy says, I work for DHS. I work with federal agents all day. They're just normal dudes doing a job. And most of them are, absolutely. But in every profession, you have your good people, and then you have one or two rotten eggs.
And some of those rotten eggs try to use that badge to their advantage.
We see that in society.
I was watching a video of a cop that was on duty, and he was at the police station in his uniform and everything. Well, he got called into a room with a bunch of different cops, right? The next thing you know, he's being arrested for domestic battery, and they're literally taking scissors and cutting his cop uniform off of him.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, whoa, never seen anything like that before. They wanted to make sure he got those patches and everything off of him.
Well, I'm so glad that we had this discussion and that those of you who stayed.
Just remember, everybody, our children are our future. And if something
Yes.
happens to our children, there's not going to be a future for our children.
And as adults, we have to stay vigilant
Mm-hmm.
in this online world and protect them.
Exactly. If that means go give them a hug every night and the kid's like, "Oh, Mom, what are you doing?" So what? Show them the love and affection that they deserve. So they're
Yeah.
not looking for it through somebody online in circumstances like the predators and the catfishers. Like I said, the kids are our future, guys, and we got to protect them at all cost. And then if you don't, there's going to be parents out there thinking, well, I didn't do what I was supposed to do as a parent, and give up on life because they screwed up raising their children. As of right now, people need to start paying attention to what's going on with their children.
Right.
It's happening every day, and I'm sick of seeing it. Every day there's a child missing, or a child's been raped or catfished or predators. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, biological parents kidnapping their own kids and
Killing their own kids.
The little boy in the suitcase, a prime example.
Yes. Love you too, Vid.
The mother thought the child had demons in him. Well, if you felt that way, take him to seek help.
Right.
And trust me, when me and my wife were going through our separation and divorce, our son had a hard time with it. And I had to take him to Gallahue, which is a psychiatrist, because he was acting out so bad.
Yep.
You know? And I did everything I could as a parent to try to help him. And what he does after that is on him. You know? But we wanted to come on here and have a little discussions with our peoples. And like I said, Marv's got a copy of this tips for parents. And if she's willing to type it out and just post it on our community page and our Facebook group,
absolutely,
we'll do that to help any parent out there that needs some type of guidance.
I'll try to find some more resources for parents too, things to look at, programs to get familiar with, things like that.
That reminds me, support with Steffa. She is a good person. She deals with this situation every day. This is what she does for a living. If anybody has problems with their children or their child, please reach out to us and we'll get in contact with Steffa, or we can directly get in contact with Steffa and see if she's willing to lend a helping hand or give advice, because she knows all the ins and outs, who to talk to, where to send the people, and things of that nature.
Yeah. Nobody makes a handbook for parents.
No. It's an everyday learning experience.
Yep.
Every day.
So together we'll learn and we'll teach and educate so that, we'll educate you, teach you. You can go and teach your friends and your family, and then they can teach their friends and their family. And just by getting it out there more and knowing what to look for,
like we're saying, guys, we're not perfect parents, and we're not claiming to be perfect parents, because I can damn sure tell you I was never a perfect parent, and I'll be the first one to tell you that. But just from researching and learning things, I thought, well, damn, this is something that I could put out there in the public to try to help other people that are having issues with this kind of situation or situations of that nature.
Right. Yeah, check their phones, check their friends, check their parents.
Go through their drawers in their bedrooms. I mean, whatever you have to do.
Exactly. Watch over their shoulder as they're online and on their phones.
Yep. And if
Ask
they instantly
them what they're looking at.
And if they instantly log out, that's a sign right there that they're doing something they should not be doing, or they're involved with something they shouldn't be involved with.
Right. But yeah, I'll type something up. I'll put it in Discord on the Facebook page and the community page, and then I'll get some more resources links to resources for parents, and I'll share it with all of you. We'll share it everywhere.
Check a number they call a lot. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes. If it's not a family member, yes, definitely check that out.
And I can tell you another thing, a little sneaky thing they do is when they have a phone number in their phone, if you pop that number up, it'll have somebody's name. A lot of the times, that's not who it really is.
A lot of times they don't even put the real name in there anymore.
No, they don't. That's what I'm saying. They use an alias to try to
You
hide
ask
it.
them.
Yep. Well, we've been here about an hour and 25 minutes, guys. We wanted to discuss the 13-year-old girl from Texas being kidnapped and she'd been found. And I wanted to give you a little background on the gentleman who's in jail on that, what his charges were. And also, I just went over some tips for parenting when it comes to child predators or anything that looks out of the ordinary with your child. Here's some tips that you can use to try to get down to the bottom of what might be going on with your child.
And remember, these same tips can go for the elderly, middle-aged. So share them with, there's a lot of elderly that are getting taken advantage of, that are giving people money when they shouldn't have.
Yep.
And it's the same signs.
And like I said, Purdue RN will tell you, a human brain is not fully developed until at least 25 or 26 years old. So don't think, if you're on here and you're 18 to 23, 24, think that your brain's fully developed. I'm here to tell you you're wrong. Sorry, but I do enough research when it comes to medical laws and things like that, and I would not put stuff out here like this if I haven't researched it.
And this is very important. Stay super involved in their life. Let them trust you with the truth.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, the parents might not like what they find or what they hear or what they see. And that's where the parent needs to step up and be a parent, say, hey, look,
And you got to be calm about it. You can't just freak out and go
start
off on
screaming at them. And now it's a different story if you're sending nude photos to somebody you don't even think if you think it's an individual. I would snap.
I know. I agree. I would snap too, but I've learned that the calmer you are and the more you have a discussion with them versus yelling at them, the more they listen.
And see, that's the situation I had with my son when I found that photo in his phone with him with a handgun. I was calm about it. And I told his mom, and she flipped.
Yeah.
She flipped.
But we love you all. We want your kids, your grandkids, your families to stay safe. So we will help in any way we can and get you the information that will help you do that.
Another thing, if you ever notice your child's got money and you don't know where it's coming from, you better start asking.
Yep.
Or find and get to the bottom of it, because a lot of these kids are making money by doing stuff they shouldn't be doing.
Yes.
Dealing drugs, selling photos to somebody or whatever, whatever the circumstances might be. If they've got money that they didn't get from you or another family member or whatever, you need to start asking questions. So, and to end that note, like we said, we love each and every one of our chat members, our subscribers, our members. Marv is not doing a live this weekend because she's going to be out of the town with family. So more than likely, I'll just do a surprise live where it'll be an open discussion, whatever. Delphi, whatever the conversation you guys want to talk about.
Sounds good.
I'm always up to talk about Delphi, guys. So
oh yeah.
Always. I'm always up to talk about Delphi. Good night, sweetheart. See you tomorrow.
Good night.
So on that note, we're going to get out of here for the night. Want to say love everybody. How you do it? How you do it?
Yeah.
I haven't figured it out yet. I don't do that crap. There you go. Peace out. One love. Good night, guys.
Good night.